All right, so welcome. I think this is a good afternoon kind of video, but wherever on whatever time you choose to listen, welcome or watch, welcome to the Rude Boys Sound, the Spurs Sound Off. And today, Crystal Palace against Spurs, 1-0, which is a bit shocking, but this is what we talk about, or most of us who are critical of the team and this is what we're talking about. If you're improving, these are games that you win or you come away with a point. Knowing that Crystal Palace is desperate and you can throw that out because we could be on whatever winning streak we are on or losing streak. It was not going to make a difference because it's a derby and the derby games are somewhat different for some reason in the English Premier League. And one of the things I spoke about earlier in the week is getting also excited about, or getting too excited about the West Ham game and the midweek game. Those are platforms that we're supposed to use to show the sign of improvement. And today was a perfect day. The Crystal Palace game was a perfect time to examine whether or not we're improving. And as always, I for one, to be honest with you, the lineup, this is going to be controversial, but to me, it is not controversial. I would have never started Mikey Moore. And the reason why I would not have started Mikey Moore is that Mikey Moore hasn't sat enough to start learning and understanding what it takes to play in the Premier League. So what you do is that you give him where his joy is. You play him in the Europa League where it is not as hectic, it is not as fast paced, and it is not as taxing as it is. I also said, which I'm not sure if I posted the video for my pregame, I might regret that because I did say that I would have started Timo Werner ahead of Mikey Moore and then bring him on. And if in case he decided that going with Ange's thinking, I got that right too. Have the opportunity to say that, knowing Ange, he will probably start. He will probably start Mikey Moore, and so he did. And I don't agree with that. The other thing I said was that I prefer Madison starting, which was fine, and the rest of the team was okay for how we were playing. But once Son is not playing and Son is not there, I would start Timo Werner because then you're talking about direct speed, and so we get carried away by the flash or the flashes that we saw on Thursday and said, yes, Mikey Moore has arrived. It is supposed to be humbling, the game of football. And in a time like that, or in a game like this, you let him sit. And the first sign of trouble, whether it is Johnson or Werner, then you pretty much bring him on. And so that's why I never agree with starting him or hope that he never start, right? Because I don't want him to lose his confidence. I want him to have something to build on. And we have the games. It's not like we don't have the games. We do have the games. We have the cups, and we have Europa. So you have to make sure that when you're selecting the team, you're selecting the team that is stronger and somewhat better and bring him along in the Premier League. That's just my opinion. Lots may not agree with that because I've seen some posts on social media and some of my Facebook posts with from Tottenham sites that are telling me that I don't support Ange. And let me make this clear, and I can't be any clearer. I am 100% behind Ange. 100%. I'm not going to waver into that. What I'm not going to do though, I'm not well. Let me back this up. I'm a Spurs fan first and foremost, and so I'm always going to be behind the club, right? I'm not going to be shy away from voicing my opinion about a manager based on what I've seen, right? I don't have a long CV, right? I'm no known pundit, but what I do know is that I do understand the game. I've coached the game, I've played the game, and I've scouted the game, right? So I understand a little bit about the game. And when I point out certain things within the game, I heard that I don't know Ange. I don't need to know Ange. What I need to do, I need to know football to know that some of the things just does not work. And so it leads to trying to overcome those deficiencies all the time. And those deficiencies are placed there. They're not something that creeps up in game. Those are things that are actually in the game. And I will tell you what I'm talking about in a minute. So as far as the starting 11 is concerned, I'm not going to blame too much on on Solanke. I don't think he was getting the service that he deserved. I don't think Brennan Johnson is that good of a winger. He doesn't get the balls in, but he does get some across the box, and that's a problem I'm having, is that nothing is coming in aerial, right? When you have Mikey Moore, right, he's going to do the same thing. Nothing is coming in aerial because he's going to dribble the ball in the box. The other problem with that is that even though Udogi is supposed to come down and provide that width, Udogi is going to dribble the ball inside as well. And he's not and he's going to take it all the way down to the byline to make that one pass so you can, literally walk in the ball into the goal. And that is why we are so fractured. Because while, and I'm going to give it to him, I'm giving all of this, all of the things Ange wants to do, I'm giving that to him, right? I'm giving that to him to show you that it's not going to work consistently. Because number one, the reason why it's not going to work is that Crystal Palace, right, before was dropping. They played three at the back and was dropping down the two to form a five in the back, and giving us the ball. They weren't pressing us, right? And for some reason, right, I could see the goal coming about in the 25th minute, 26th minute, whatever time it was. For some reason, Vicario, like he did against Brighton, decided to put the ball down, split Ramiro wide, split Van Right left on the 6 yard box, because now he's going to play out from the back. If Crystal Palace, right, if Crystal Palace is not pressing, why would you invite the press? Why would you put the ball down and pass it 12 yards lower below your box to Romero on the 6 yard line? Why would you put the ball down and play it to Van der Ven on the 6 yard box? How many times they're going to do that? So what was happening is that now Crystal Palace realizes that and start pressing with three. One to Van der Ven, one to Romero, one in the middle to cut off the number 6. So now when you do that, what you're actually doing, not only are you inviting the entire Crystal Palace team to come up, you have to pull back everyone now to come and support it. Because if the idea, right, again, leadership, if the idea was to say, okay, so they're 5-4 and 1, right, with Mateta up top. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go down and we're going to go over the top. That would be a total different tactics to try and break them up. But we weren't doing that. We invited them and they just snuck up, right, and start pressing us in our own half, and we were trying to play through it. And we could see that coming, and it was a matter of time before we make a mistake and they were going to score. It is never a good thing, even if it works a couple of times, even if it works out with you trying to play through that one mistake, it means that you're going to find the ball in the back of the net. And should I blame Van der Ven? No, I'm not going to blame Van der Ven. I'm not going to blame Romero. I'm not going to blame Vic. You know who I'm going to blame? I'm going to blame the manager, right? Because that is something that has been brewing almost 15 minutes before the score. We had them. They weren't doing anything, right? And we invited them onto us by putting the ball down and bouncing it right outside the 18-yard box. And we never went long. Never went long. with all the speed that we have up front. So why should I blame the players? And so when when you're talking about football in context, this is what I'm talking about. I don't look at the West Ham game and said, oh, we put a spanking at West Ham and we're off and ready to go. We barely scraped through with a pub team in AZ as far as a comparison from a Premier League and another league is, right? How bad they are. But I understand it that we had 9 substitutions. We had 9 different players in the starting level. So you're going to lack some cohesion there. But the point of everything is that we are not good enough to do those things. As a whole, the team is not good enough to be doing the things that we're doing. And the same thing, you're going to make one mistake and you're going to lose the game. And that's what we did today. It wasn't one mistake. We didn't make one mistake. We make a potpourri of mistakes, and we end up losing the game because we try to play out from the back and we invited them. I don't understand it. I will never understand it, and I do not want to understand it. All I know is that if the manager accepts those things, I can't blame the players. You cannot be so insistent and wanting to play out the back that you're putting the team on the heels all the time. We just lost our mind. Too many moments of insanity. And while I am sure that other sites, other creators, a lot of other pundits are going to be like slagging off on the players, we didn't lose because of the players today. We lost because we're playing a very, very poor system. We are playing a system that lacks clarity, it lacks tactics, and it lacks leadership. That's what we lack. And for the life of me, let me ask this. What were those substitutions about? What the heck? How could you, when you look at the bench, let's just look at it this way. When you look at the bench, and we're talking about creative players, Bergvall, right? And one of my criticism of Bergvall is that Bergvall doesn't go vertical enough. He's nicely put around, in and around and meandering around, and he does all that little thing, but you don't see that vertical pass coming from him too often. And so in a situation like this, you take off Kulusevski, bring Sarr on, reverse to what you did in with West Ham, and leave Maddison up there. Let Maddison go a little longer. Give him 10 minutes or so with Sarr to see how he's going to function with Sarr. But we took off Sarr, we brought Sarr on and expected Sarr to be the creative midfielder. Are we looking for magic here or something? Are we trying to pull something out of a hat to see what works? I am trying to figure out. How does the manager arrive at some of his decisions? How does he arrive at some of his decisions? It's if you we made substitutions. This is what's irritating, right? We made substitutions, right? And I think we went to a 4-4-2, if I'm not mistaken. And Richarlison and Solanke was playing off the shoulders of the defender. And we were busy passing the ball to Romero. And Romero was tapping it 5 yards in front of him. So what's the purpose? So here's the deal. When Richarlison came on, right, I saw the signal. He went 4-4-2 up top. Universal signal. Go look back at the tape. The minute we went to a 4-4-2, right, that means that we need the ball to be going down the middle. We need the ball to be going over the top. And Romero has not passed a ball over the top. Ramiro probably have 55% of the total of the ball. And this is what I've been saying long before this happened. I didn't wait until this happened. I'm just saying that if you continue to do this every time, this is what's going to happen when you really need those plays. When you need the ball to be going over the top, because Romero doesn't accustom himself to putting the ball over the top. When we need the ball, and that is why you go to a 4-4-2, you have two big, strong center forward up there, and I don't understand why we did not put the ball in the air. Same thing with Vicario. Why didn't he put the ball in the air when he has it? You have Johnson crashing, you have Werner crashing, and yet we don't put the ball in the air and we're down one. We're down one from the 31st minute of the game. So what do we have to lose? Put the ball long and play behind the ball. Put them on their back foot. You encouraged the fullbacks from the other team to push up now and start pressing because they were up. They had nothing to lose. They were up. They're still gonna walk away with a point if you score one. So they start pushing up, and we were supposed to be chasing the game are playing the ball around the back. And I say this all the time. Even when we win, we have those moments of madness where we put the ball down in the 6-yard box and bounced around. And Vicario is scrambling to get the ball out. Go along. Go along for a couple of minutes, soften up the defense, let them push them back. But no, we want to play through them. It is mind-boggling to know. I'm not going to go along because I don't want to lose anyone with this. I just want to stick to the reason why I'm upset. I'm not upset about the loss. I'm not upset about the loss. What I'm upset about people when you point out to them that there are things within the win that we need to clean up. There are things that I think we should do better as a club. They're like, oh, trust the manager, support the manager. That's all they need to do. I said earlier in the week, as good as we're going to look when we win is as bad as we're going to look when we lose. And today we were bad. And those are the incidents and these are the instances that I'm referring to. If you keep putting the ball down and inviting pressure, unnecessary pressure, this is what's going to happen. And the goal come as a result of that. The point I'm making is that those are things that are etched in the DNA of how the team plays. And if the team continues to play that way, we're going to lose more than how we win. And it has nothing to do with home or away. Nothing. It is just the way we play. And like I said, if you play that way against good team, you're going to lose. If you play that way against well-organized team, you're going to lose as well. They don't have to be good. They just have to be organized. And it's proven today that a team organized behind the ball. And we played right into their hands because the manager encourages what's going on out there. And the substitutions were woeful. Absolutely, absolutely woeful. I don't understand it. I don't understand what the substitutions were about. And so for those who are getting so excited about Mikey Moore and give him a chance, this is what happened. Play Werner. Play Werner. Right? You play Werner because Werner can handle whatever else is going on. Right? Mikey Moore is not ready for all of that as yet. I would love to see Werner score. I would love to see him do better. But to protect Mikey Moore, you need to start Werner. People don't see it that way because they don't like Werner. But for the sake of the game, for the sake of the team, that's the best selection you could have. And like I said, I am still trying to figure out why would you take off Madison when and don't replace him with a creative player. The first thing I said to myself was, who's gonna do who's gonna do the creating if you take off Madison and Kula? I could understand Kula coming off because he wasn't having a good game and he wasn't a card. But Did we think that Sarr was going to run the team? Remember that when Madison came off last week, you still have Kulusevski on there who can create. And even then, if you're going to make a change like that, why not bring Bentancur on for bring Bentancur on for more defense and keep Madison with Sarr? I I I don't understand it. And for those who are so locked into this Ange Ball, what the heck is Ange Ball? I'm wasting my time. I think. Oh boy. Yeah. So I'm gonna post this. I'm going to drop it there. Leave it there. Leave a comment. Like I said, for my videos, you don't have to subscribe to my channel, but if you view it, leave a comment, leave a like, and share it if you may to the Spurs community. And we look forward to just move on to the next game. I'm not even feeling confident of going into Wednesday's game because what I'm just seeing that we're just spinning our wheels here. We're spinning our wheels, and some of the fans are like, you're negative, you're too negative, you're this and you're that and you're that. But what games are we watching? We're obviously not watching the same game and watching the same manager and seeing that we're not improving. Not because you win. Your win doesn't mean you improve because you're doing the same things. You just got away with it. And this time you didn't get away with it. You get punished and you lose. And that's what happened. Just the way when you do the right thing, you have a better chance of winning. When you do the wrong thing consistently, you have a chance of losing. And we lost today. And like I said, I'm not going to blame the players. That's a manager. That's a manager asking to play a certain way. That's a manager who refused to come out of playing a certain way. And the minute Vicario put that ball down in the 6-yard box, he should be screaming his head off that no, get the ball up the field. Because he moved the press point of Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace wasn't pressing until you come across the half line. So why move the press point to your 18-yard box? And we did exactly that. We embolden them by putting the ball down on the 6-yard box. And we keep doing it all the time. And we get away with it sometimes. And this is what happens when you don't get away with it all the time. You lose the game. That's not on the players. That's leadership from the sideline. That you yell at both Romero and Vicario and Van de Ven and Udogi and Poro to get the ball up the pitch. We're not playing out the back right now because they move their point of pressure. They move their point of press because we invited that. And when we invited that, we turned the game over to them. Let them give you the ball. Work through it. If you have the ball, they can't score. So it doesn't matter how many chances you miss. If the team is dropping back the minute you get the ball, right? Why would you put the ball down and start bouncing it around in your own area? You're just inviting them up. They decided that they weren't going to start press you until you come over the half line. And you decide you're going to put the ball down on your 6-yard box and bounce it around. Give me a break. This is just absolutely madness and pure bad leadership. And I'm not going to get to the point where I'm seeing tactical rubbish and start blaming the players. I don't know if they're good enough for the system because the tactics within that system dictates what they do. And if you keep putting them in bad position, this is what you're going to get. And we have been doing that. We got away with it a few times, and we get punished this time. And that's the end of the story. We are not learning. We're not improving. We're just spinning in mud. Look at Ange's record. Look at the record. Go ahead. Take a look at the record. It's awful. It's an awful, awful record to have for a supposedly top club. We're 10 points off. The leaders already 10. Nobody make up that point. Nobody's going to make that up. We get a chance. I said it that even if we win, which was important, right, is that there wasn't no gigantic leap that we were going to have winning. But what we would have done would have stayed with the pack. Now the pack is 3 points and 4 points and 5 points and 10 points ahead of us because we did not win to stay with the pack. We're not going to go on a 5 and 6 game winning streak in the league. Sorry, but that's not going to happen. And if we're not beating the teams that the other teams are beating and then take points from them, we'll be right where we are. And I've said it before that we're no better than 8. 7, I'm steering down 7 right now. So for those who want to talk about negative and they're like, give it a whatever. Um, I'm getting angry for no reason. There's no reason to get angry because I'm going to say things I absolutely shouldn't say. So I'm going to leave it right there. It was a bad game, a terrible game, and let's move on to the next game. Like I was saying, I think I was saying this and I got over here. You can leave a comment, view the video, share the video. Like I said, it's just my comment. I just want to keep my comments there, find somewhere to put them where I could always go back to it as my proof of how I think about the game, how I think about the club, give my opinion. I just want to have them in a place where I can go back and reference to them, but I want to share them with you. So if you don't mind, leave a comment. I will engage in the comment, but like I said, I'm not asking for subscription to my channel. That's not the purpose of me doing the videos. I just want to engage and be a part of the conversation. And because I'm long-winded, I'm not going to deny that. But I just want to be able to get my thoughts out there and get it on my site. If you want to leave a comment, like I said, go ahead and leave a comment. If you want to share the video, go ahead and share the video. If there's something that you want me to discuss, what you like or not like about my presentation, then you could always say it. But remember to keep it positive. It's only football, and everyone has an opinion. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. What's yours against mine? Prove me wrong if you want to prove me wrong. Have a discussion if you want to have a discussion. If you do whatever you do, I will address it personally. I will take what you said in consideration and I will respond to it. What I'm not going to respond to, though, is negativity. If you don't have anything to say, move on. You don't have to watch it, and that's it. Period. So thank you to those who are going to watch, share, and like. That's it, and I'll see you next time.